Okay, hello everyone, okay, 321 here, and I'm bringing you the third part of the Hackintosh series. I know in the second episode I promised I would try and get the parts thing to work, but I just don't feel like going through Cam Studio, so I'm just gonna talk over some COD 4 gameplay and explain some of the components I'm going to use. Motherboards and processors are the most. Motherboard, processor, video card are the three most important parts. Okay, for the motherboard, you want to go with Gigabyte because that's the most driver support that Apple gives as far as what parts they'll give driver support to. And for processors, you obviously go with Intel because they don't use AMD. For video card, I've seen video card, it doesn't really matter. Just don't go with the 600 series NVIDIA. And don't go with the 7000 series AMD or the 6900 series. That's basically it. You can look on the Tony Mac website to confirm, but that's how I think it's worded. So I think I have it right. So before I move on, you're seeing some COD 4 gameplay just because I figured I was gonna go play COD 4 multiplayer, but I figured you'd rather see some decent single player gameplay than some laggy, crappy multiplayer gameplay, if you know what I mean. So I just decided to throw the campaign in and record a mission, and then I'll just use it as my background gameplay. So let's continue. Since you have to use Gigabyte boards, Intel processors, and the video card, doesn't matter, but you need to make sure it has driver support. I'm going to go with the video card that I have now, which is a 6670, which this is basically an entry-level gaming card. I want to replace it, but most importantly, I actually want to do, trying to think of the word for it. I really just want to get this system up and running, and then I'll worry about upgrading it at a later date. Because that's what I said about my Windows PC, but I love Mac OS. I just didn't think I could run on a Windows PC. So once I get this thing up and running, I'll think about upgrading the video card. But I'm gonna stick with my video card. I'm gonna go with an i5. I think 2500K, but maybe by the time I can afford it, the 3570K will be ready for it. But for some reason, I doubt it. For one reason only. Because Apple will not have upgraded the Ivy Bridge yet. That's all it comes down to. Apple won't be prepared to upgrade to it, so I can guarantee I could still use a Sandy Bridge processor. 2500K is what I'm looking at. I was debating between a 2500 and 2500K just for a minor price difference, but it'll always save me money. Then I just said, 2500K will work. Because I can overclock it at a later date, but I can save the money over an i7, which what I originally wanted. Because I originally did want an i7, you know what I mean? Who wouldn't want an i7? But then I'm just like, I know I do all the video encoding and crap, video processing, but is it worth the extra $100? And I basically said, not really. So, because if I overclock an i5, you can get like similar scores to an i7 stock. And since I'm getting a K series processor, I can invest in like water cooling later. Don't really need to worry about it, so. Basically, i5 2500K processor. Motherboard, Gigabyte Z68 UD3 HB3. I know that's a mouthful, but is one of the top compatible motherboards for Hackintosh. Because it's a Gigabyte board, Z68 chipset, and it's well supported by Apple. So that's what I'm going with. I had another one in mind, but then I realized $20 more now. Color scheme's better. It's well supported. I already know how to set up everything in BIOS, so I'll just go with this one. So going with that motherboard and video card I stuck to. Basically my components of my computer right now will go just fine with it, except I do need to buy another hard drive. We'll probably just get another 500 gig Caviar Blue. I know I'm just like dragging my feet on the 1 TB drive, but that's like a big part to put in a build. You know what I mean? Hard drives are becoming almost as bad as video cards. In the fact that they're a component. Hard drives will last you longer, but you always need to replace them unless you just go deleting stuff like a crazy person. You'll end up replacing them anyway. So video cards you replace every couple years. Hard drives you have to grab a new one or clean off your one that you have now. And hard drives to get faster. It's just like hard drives. WD Black 1 TB used to be $80. Now they're like $120. What's that crap? 500 for $80. You get 500 gig caviar blues. I have a 500 gig caviar blue to hold Windows on. So now I'm probably gonna get one to hold Mac on. So that's basically it, you know. There isn't much that needs to be said other than that. So I'm just trying to think, because there has to be something else that needs to be done in this build video, just describing the parts, but really Tony Mac makes it straightforward. If anybody else is interested in building a Hackintosh, all you have to do is watch some YouTube videos and follow the instructions off of that website. Literally. But the reason I do need to buy a hard drive, now that I think of it, why some people would be thinking you already have a hard drive, why do you need a new one? Because it's a good idea, a really good idea, to store your OSs on separate drives. So I'm gonna get a separate drive, throw Mac OS. I think I'm gonna put Snow Leopard on it. Then I'll get Lion, put that on it, and yeah. You just want to have a separate hard drive to put it on. Probably I would, if I assume correctly, I get a separate, never mind, I'm going off on a completely different path, but I'm going to get a separate hard drive for that. I have all the other parts that I need, because basically all I need to do from the build I have now for Windows, take out the processor, take out the motherboard, put everything else in. There we go. After I do that, I just install OS 10 and then do the Hackintosh updates, back up my files, which really I might ask to borrow an external, or I'm debating whether I might partition a drive or something. I don't know. I might just back it up onto an external, frankly, because I don't keep many files. If I run out of space on the external just because it's a backup, whatever. So this has been a quick parts overview of my Hackintosh build. It's been OK321. Follow me on Twitter. Link shall be in the description, and see ya.